Let's see. Just went live. Hello. Somebody just jumped in. How are you doing? Just went live. 4 people. Hi. Why is nothing working? Hi, hi. Hi, everybody. Wow, everybody's coming in all at once. How is everyone tonight? Wow, 21 already. Holy cow. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. How is everybody? I told you I like this channel. Thanks. Titanic historian. I'm okay. Let's see. How is everybody tonight? I'm doing good. We've got a winter storm coming through the area, so well, it's not really winter here. It's just raining really hard. Hi, Isaac. I see you. Hi, everybody. Everything automotive. Queen Mary pictures coming this week. All right, thanks. Hi, Misa. Misa. I think that's how you say it. Misa. I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you? Tommy, are you going to do any more Titanic videos? Yes, I'm going to be doing more Titanic videos. Got a cowlick going on there. You're at 5,000 already. I'm shocked. Titanic historian. Thanks. I am stunned too. I'm stunned too. I honestly cannot believe I'm already here. Whoa. $50 super chat. Holy cow. Lauren. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you so much. Holy cow. What's your opinion of the Imperator class of ships? Imperator? Are those the I don't know much about those ships. Are those like the destroyer ships, like the Bismarck and stuff like that? I'm not very familiar with those ships, but thank you very, very much for the super chat. Ash, how do you still have Titanic ideas? I could talk about Titanic for a very, very long time. There's so much little details to talk about when it comes to Titanic. It's unbelievable. And I've spent most of my life from when I was 7 or 8, I've always been interested in Titanic. So I've got a bunch of other ideas on here. As of right now, I think I've got around 45 more video topics that I could do. Backyard Garage, what's poppin'? Hey, man, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing, Backyard Garage? Nathan, congrats on the 5K, Sam. Thanks. Lauren, thank you again for that super chat. I mean, honestly, I wish I could answer your question better. I really do. I just don't know much about those types of ships. But thank you very much for the super chat. I honestly can't believe you did that. Thank you. Sonic, I started Titanic when I was in 1st grade. Oh, that's awesome, Sonic. Aaron, will you do a video on the Lacanana incident? I don't know what that is. Ferries and lifts. Queen Mary might get scrapped. I saw where they put the Queen Mary was put up on bankruptcy. I saw that whole thing, but they're not going to scrap the Queen Mary. I think it's just the hotel or the company that's running the hotel. They're the ones who filed for bankruptcy, if that's what you're talking about. But I don't think the city of Long Beach would let the Queen Mary get put in the bankrupt or scrapped. I cannot imagine people being okay with the Queen Mary breaking up. Gaming and playing. Hello. Silas, what do you think of Aaron's 1912 V-brake? I strongly disagree with the V-brake theory. I think that what I believe it was Jack Thayer who wrote that. I believe what he was talking about, like what he saw may have just been some wood from the deck or the stairs from the grand staircase. I think that's what he saw, not the actual ship breaking up. And I think Jack Thayer even said later that that was not how the ship broke in two. Weather in my neighborhood. I wish I could hit 1,000 subscribers. Oh, trust me, man. I know it's hard to get subscribers. And honestly, just keep doing what you're doing, man. And just the way I look at YouTube is I look at it as having fun and just enjoying my content and trying to teach everyone something and have fun while I'm doing it and just have fun with it. I was thrilled when I hit 200 and 300 subs. I was absolutely blown away. So just keep doing what you're doing, man, and enjoy the work and have fun with what you do. And when people see how you're passionate about it, you'll get subscribers, man. So just keep on going. Rolf Jander, just wanted to say thanks for the video. Thank you, man. I really, really appreciate it. Tyler Adams. Why do you think Chief? Wait, what was that? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Holy cow! I just lost it. Why do you think Chief Officer Wilde is such a mysterious figure? He was a more senior than Murdoch and Lightheart, but he's not discussed as much. Tyler, that is a very, very good question. And I'll be honest, I do not know much. I do not know a lot about Wilde, but I know more about what was it, Officer? Shoot, I'm drawing a blank on his name. I think it was Officer Lowe. Was he the fifth officer? He was the one who nobody liked. I know more about him than I do Wilde. Is that his name? Yeah. Owen, can you do a video talking about the Britannic? I am going to do a video about the Britannic. As far as the next ships go, I really want to try to get the Gustloff done. I want to do a video about the Gustloff before too much longer. Jake, what happened to the lifeboats after the sinking? That is actually a good question. And it's not widely known what happened to the lifeboats. I think some of them went to the Olympic, and then others were probably just moved around, but I'm sure the nameplates got changed, so who knows what happened to them. I know the Nomadic, one of the lifeboats from Nomadic is on the Queen Mary. Titanic lover, can you do more Lusitania videos? I was actually thinking about it. I kind of made the Lusitania video just to see how everything went and just how to, you know, I did that poll to talk about other ships, and Lusitania was popular. So I will do some more videos about the Lusitania. Maybe a little bit more. If you want to dive into the history of U-20, the submarine that sunk the Lusitania, there's a lot of information about that. And Captain Schwieger, I believe that was his name, the captain of the U-20 submarine. Frank, so glad to see your success. Thanks, man. Silas, what do you think of the SS Taylor? Man, I'm getting asked about a bunch of ships that I have never even heard of. I do not know anything about that ship. Can you do a video on the Titanic sinking on the city of Belfast? Are you talking about how Belfast was affected by the sinking of the Titanic? Ori, I can't pronounce your name. Ori Painham. I love your videos. What's your favorite ship and why? Oh, thanks, man. Favorite ship. Well, if you're talking about modern ships, I really my favorite cruise ships. I've been on the Disney ships, and I really, really like Disney Cruise Line. As far as favorite old school ships, of course, Titanic has a special place in my heart, but I've got a personal connection to the Queen Mary. I had a really, really good dear friend of mine. He is basically like a grandfather to me. We weren't related, but he was a really, really dear friend. And he actually sailed on the Queen Mary during the Second World War. I believe he was on board when Churchill was on board. Walter, hi. How's Walter? Sonic, what do you think would have happened if the Titanic had collided with the New York? If the Titanic would have collided with the New York, then I'd say the voyage would have been delayed. It depends on how bad the damage was. Between the, if you want to compare it to the Olympic and the Hawk, you got to remember the Hawk was a warship and it was designed to cut into hulls. So it's debatable if the New York would have done as much damage to Titanic as the Hawk did to the Olympic. I don't think it would have, but I'm sure it would have delayed something. Silas, historic travels. What if the Oasis of the Seas sank? Since the sterns on the ship have changed so much, how would this be affected? Oh, if the Oasis sank. Well, those ships are so big, and depending on how it sank, I think the ship would roll over. It would capsize pretty quick if the Oasis was if the Oasis started to go down. Historic, can I make a profile picture for you or a banner? I've actually never thought about that. Possibly, we can talk about that. I wouldn't care to work with somebody on something like that. I've never even thought about it, to be honest with you. Titanic lover, but Olympic and Hawk's damage was severe. Yes, but remember, like what I said, the Hawk was designed to cut into ships, where New York wasn't. So I figured that would make a difference. Joe, was the Titanic built wrong, or did a fire on the ship weaken the hull? The Titanic was not built wrong. And a fire had absolutely nothing to do with the Titanic sinking. If you want to think about it like this. So here's my Titanic model. I feel like I'm in one of my episodes right now. So while the Titanic was at sea, there was a coal fire burning inside of the ship. And it was burning in Boiler Room 6 on the starboard side. All right, Lauren. Lauren, thanks for the super chat. I see it. All right, I'll get to your question in a minute. Let me finish this story and I'll get to your super chat. So there was a coal fire burning inside of the Titanic. It was burning on the starboard side. And what they do, coal fires were very, very common at the time. They were not unique. The Titanic wasn't special. The Titanic wasn't ablaze, as a certain documentary would like you to believe. Ugh, I hate that documentary. Anyway, so what they do is they take all of the coal that's burning and they move it from the right side of the ship to the left side of the ship, and they douse it as they go. And then after that happened, the Titanic was still sailing. It wasn't sinking yet. But some of the passengers noticed the ship had a very, very slight list to port. That's where they moved. And I'm talking, they moved a ton of coal from the right side to the left side of the ship. So it wasn't much. I think it was 3 or 4 degrees to port. If anybody knows exactly, let me know. Anyway, so the ship was sailing with a very, very slight list. She struck the iceberg on the starboard side. Okay, so not long after the Titanic had struck the iceberg, the ship stabilized. She evened out. So the water that was coming in on the right was actually the coal on the left made the ship stable, because the water on the right and the coal on the left equaled the same weight, so the ship was sinking relatively stable. They ran some computer simulations, and if the Titanic had not had that coal fire, then the Titanic would have capsized and sunk in about an hour, according to computer simulations. But because of the coal fire and because the coal offset the weight for a little while, the ship stayed afloat for closer to 3. So it looks like the coal fire saved the Titanic and kept it from capsizing. All right, now let's get back to the super chat. Lauren, do you know about the Titanic Olympic switch theory? Yes, I do, and I strongly, strongly disagree with it. There are so many problems with the Olympic switch theory, and I've seen videos talking about disproving it and all the problems with how unbelievably difficult it would be to prep a ship and get it swapped out. And I think and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been so long since I've seen anything on it, but I think one of their arguments is because of the list that the Titanic had. They say that was from the Olympic Hawk incident. Well, it wasn't. It was from the coal fire. So just that alone. And another big argument they use is that the Titanic, they did it for insurance money. Titanic wasn't even insured for the full amount. Titanic was not even insured for the full amount. So that doesn't even make sense. There are so many problems with the coal fire theory, or not the coal fire, the switch theory. It's ridiculous. So that is my opinion on that. But thank you again for the super chat, Lauren. I can't get over that. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see. Heather, Tommy, Fabrizio made up. Okay. Fabrizio. The True Fox. Why would they switch Titanic and Olympic in the first place? It's like I said. It's a conspiracy, as there are 1,000 conspiracies in the world. No joke. My brother found a conspiracy once. We and him were just looking up random conspiracies just for fun. Apparently, there's a conspiracy that all the trees on Earth are fake. That all the trees we see around us are fake trees. Yeah, I know. I don't know anything about it, but I just thought that was funny. Let's see. Owen, do you know about the sinking of the Carpathia? I do know the Carpathia sank, and I believe it was a torpedo. But as far as all the details of it, I do not know. Jake, how do you feel about the 2000 Britannic movie? I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of it. I mean, I know it's not accurate at all, but it could be interesting. I need to watch it. I actually need to watch a few of the, I have not seen SOS Titanic. That's like an older Titanic film, and I have not seen it either. AI, Al, any thoughts on Costa Concordia or Captain Schetina? I think Captain Schetina was a pig. I mean, I cannot believe that there was a captain who abandoned his ship with all of those people on board. And I can't even get over it. And I saw the video of how Captain Schetina, like the Coast Guard, was yelling at him to get back on the ship. I mean, I don't even understand that. I don't understand. And apparently he was on board with his mistress or something. So I think he was cheating on his wife. I mean, the Costa Concordia incident is absolutely insane. But yeah, I think, how much time in prison did he get? I think 14 years. Hi, Lisa. I see you. Walter, have you read A Night to Remember? I have not read it, but I have listened to it. I listened to the audiobook. When I was in college, I spent about 8 months working in a UPS loading plant, or like a UPS loading facility. So I listened to books while I was in there. Let's see. Titanic Lover. Yeah, he was with his GI. Are you talking about Captain Schetina? CEO, do you know about the sinking of the Oceanus? I do know a little bit about that. From what I remember, that captain was a pig as well. He abandoned the ship, as well as a lot of the ship's crew abandoned it, and the passengers were the ones who called for help on that. That was absolutely insane. Funny enough, the Oceanus sunk the year I was born, 1991, I believe. Titanic lover, his girlfriend. Ah, okay, so it was his girlfriend. Christina, hello from Denmark. Awesome. Hi, Christina. Whoa, so many questions. Okay, guys, okay. Sorry, I'm coughing tonight. Okay, Nathan, what is your favorite Titanic documentary? Mine is Titanic Death of a Dream. Ooh, there's a lot of really, really good documentaries. I forget what it's called, but there's a good documentary talking about the talking about the mirage effect. You know, why the Titanic couldn't have seen the iceberg and why the Californian was confused by the messages. That one's really good, but I forget what it's called. My favorite one, though, probably has to be the Ghost of the Abyss documentary that James Cameron did. I think that is one of the best documentaries. Oh, and Last Secrets of the Titanic, I think. It's the one where James Cameron was inside the Titanic with the ROV, and he got into Isidore and Ida Strauss's cabin, and the clock was still on the mantle, like it was still sitting on the fireplace. That absolutely blew my mind. I could not believe that it was still there. Let's see. Hello from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Well, hello from West Virginia, Chris. How are you? Yunri, hello from Canada. Hi. Well, hello from West Virginia. How is it up there in Canada? The True Fox. What do you think of about Titanic VR? If you're talking about the game where you actually go inside the ship and control the submarine, and you're exploring the wreck, I think the wreck part is really, really cool. I have the PlayStation VR. I don't have a Vive or anything, so the resolution isn't great on that, but it works. But I think for what it is, it's super, super cool. Stephen, hello from Scotland. Wow. Hi. Walter, I live in West Virginia. Oh, we're in the same state. Heather, have you ever researched the Empress of Ireland? I know a little bit about the Empress of Ireland. I know it was involved in a collision and it sunk really, really quick. I believe there was a Titanic survivor on there as well. Ooh, can you imagine being on Titanic and the Empress? Hello from Australia. Wow. Hi. Hi from America. Roboblocks. Hello from Australia. Wow. Hello from Italy. Wow. Man, we got people all over the world tonight. Hi, everybody. How are you all doing? What time is it over there in Italy? Rodrigo, wasn't the mystery ship the Mount Temple, not the Californian? I talked about that during my last live stream, and the Mount Temple was in communication with the Titanic during the sinking, and if it was the Mount Temple, you would think that they would see the lights on the ship moving or getting closer. You know, the Mount Temple was what, 40 or 50 miles away from Titanic, I believe. I don't think you could see the lights from the Mount Temple. Don't quote me on that. I think the Mount Temple is 40 or 50 miles away. If anybody knows exactly, let me know. But if it was that far away, then there's no way they could have seen the lights. And I tend to lean more towards the Californian because because the Californian's crew saw something. Wilsey, do you have a Titanic book recommendation? I do. This is the book that I use all the time, On a Sea of Glass. This is, no joke, the best book to talk about anything Titanic. Anything you want to know about the Titanic is in here. This book was very helpful with my third class video, like where the third class trapped below deck. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's the table of contents has everything organized. And it even has a section dedicated to if the third class passengers were stuck, trapped like rats. It has a dedicated section to just talking about the third class passengers. Zachary, do you think Captain Smith went down with the ship or froze to death? There's the author of this book actually talked about that, and I haven't seen what he was referencing, but he said that there's evidence that a survivor saw Captain Smith and Thomas Andrews standing on the bridge. And either Captain Smith or Thomas Andrews said, there's no use in waiting any longer. She's going. So they were actually last seen on the bridge right as the Titanic was beginning her final plunge. So that's the report of when they were last reported. So I think they were both in the water. And as far as why they didn't find Captain Smith's body, it took a few days for rescue ships to get out there, and the currents could have taken it away. Let's see what we got. Heather, I love Ghost of the Abyss. That happened during 9/11. Yeah, it did happen during 9/11. I forgot about that. Can you imagine that? Like, that's one thing that's always struck me about that story, is that they were down at the site of a horrible tragedy from, at the time, 100 years ago, and then to come up and an even worse tragedy than 9/11. 9/11 was so much worse than Titanic. I just, I think we all kind of got a taste of what the people in the early 1900s when Titanic sank, we all got a taste of what it was like. The shock and the awe and the horror of it and how awful it was. I mean, we know, what they thought when Titanic sank is just like what we felt when 9/11 happened. It was absolutely horrible. And just to be down there at the bottom of the ocean and then to come up and this horrible event happened, absolutely insane. Oh, we got a super chat. Hang on. Sorry, I got carried away there. Have you played the Britannic game by Titanic Honor and Glory? Graham Knight. Thank you, Graham. Yes, I have. I really, really like it. And the animations in it are really good. It's very, very well detailed. I've actually I've messed with it a little bit and just tried to see all the little details. And it's a really, really good game for what it is. Hi, Backyard Garage. You should do a video on White Star Line as a company, like the history of it. Oh, gosh, the history of White Star Line. That would be a job. That would be a very, very big job. But that is an interesting idea. That video would probably take a few days at least to work on, but that's interesting. I really like that idea. Adam, congrats on 5K. Was it only a few days ago you were doing a stream for 3K? I think I hit 3,000 last week and jumped up to 5. It was crazy. I still can't get over my channel growth. Everybody who's here, who's been helping me, thank you guys so much. I'm absolutely blown away by it. Captain Alex, wait. Captain, I just saw you and you disappeared. Captain Alex, congrats on 5,000 subs. Sorry I didn't comment in the Lusitania because I had nothing to say, but now I want to ask you, will you get a Lusitania model and do a unboxing? Oh, like a dedicated Lusitania model? Well, I used this one in my video, and these, to anybody here who doesn't know, I'm going to say it here. I have Lusitania, I have a model of the Titanic, and I have a model of the HMHS Britannic. These models are highly, highly detailed, and they all come from Titanic Honor and Glory's website. So I ordered these from them. If y'all want them, go on there. They have a link to where you can buy them. They're amazingly detailed. I use them all the time. Just be warned, they take a very, very long time to come in. Whew. Okay, let me see here. Pacific, a little late, but hello. Hi, Pacific. Isaac, have you seen the Poseidon Adventure? If you haven't, I've seen the new Poseidon. I have not seen the old one, and I believe the old Poseidon was actually filmed on the Queen Mary. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was. I think I've seen the introduction. That was all the Queen Mary, wasn't it? Joe, what is your favorite Titanic movie? Probably the James Cameron film. I mean, the James Cameron film has there's a lot of problems with the James Cameron film, but we didn't know that at the time. And James Cameron was trying to make the movie as accurate as he could. But as far as detail, goes, the best film to watch is A Night to Remember from the 50s. That is the most accurate film to the sinking, minus the fact that the ship didn't split in two. Okay. Benjamin, favorite passenger on the Titanic? Ooh. Probably Thomas Andrews. Thomas Andrews, I think I changed my answer. Thomas Andrews is probably up there with one of my favorites because he was technically a passenger. Molly Brown would be my favorite normal passenger, but Thomas Andrews is extremely interesting. They wouldn't have known how long, they wouldn't have been able to figure out how quick the Titanic was sinking if it wasn't for him. Thomas Andrews saved countless lives that night. Liam, what is inaccurate about the James Cameron film? Mostly things that we didn't know at the time. Like, we know now that the Titanic had a very wow, I can't stop coughing. We know the Titanic had a very, very strong list of port during the final plunge. In the James Cameron movie, she sunk straight down. Another problem in the James Cameron movie is the Titanic broke into right around the third and fourth funnel, and we know that it broke right in front of the first funnel. The Titanic did not bob like a cork, like it didn't just float like it did in the James Cameron movie. It kind of rolled over, but yeah, there were a lot of problems. But honestly, I don't give the movie a hard time. I mean, the movie did a great job considering what we knew at the time. Okay. Hey, Tony. Hey, by the way, I like your Lusitania video. Thank you. Let's see. RMS more. Oh, wait. OPM. I just made a profile picture for you. Oh, you did? It's a black with a leaf formation of HT, and there's a slight background of Titanic. Oh, that's cool. We'll need to figure out how to get in touch so I can see that. We'll need to figure out how to get in touch so we can talk. The true Fox origin. What do you think about the virtual game split between the third and fourth uptake? Wait, what? Virtual Valley game split. I actually don't know about that true Fox origin. Ugh. Heather, I love your accent. Wait, are you talking about Jake? My name's Sam, Heather, if you're talking about me. The Miner, what do you think of Titanic 2? Titanic 2, if it becomes a thing, I don't like it that they're doing it personally. I think that they're trying to capitalize off Titanic a little bit, and it all depends on exactly how much like the Titanic it was, because you got to remember Titanic is very small by modern day ship standards, and it all depends on how accurate they try to make it to Titanic. I mean, it'd be cool to see it, but I'm not really in favor of it. It's just, it was a tragedy, you know. Jonathan, shout out. I see you, Jonathan. Tony, I have a question. Why did the Titanic not capsize? Wait, when it hit the ground, it looks like one vertically just went in. Oh, Tony, if you're talking about why the Titanic didn't capsize. Hi, AI, $5. Thank you for the super chat, AI or Al, however you say it. I'll answer your question in just a second. But Tony, as far as the Titanic didn't capsize, that had to do with the coal fire. So that's the theory anyway. But that had to do with the coal fire. So I would recommend you watch my video on that, and I'll go into detail about that. Thoughts on the MS Estonia? Oh, the Estonia was a horrible tragedy. And it was actually, the way the Estonia sank reminded me of the Lusitania, except it was a storm. It was a ferry that was carrying cars, and like the cargo hatch door at the front of the ship opened up or fell off or something. The Estonia went down. I don't know exactly how quickly it went down, but it went down very fast and it had a horrible loss of life. I mean, the Estonia is up there with one of the worst disasters. I mean, Estonia was absolutely horrible. But thank you for the super chat. Miracle, hi. Hi, Miracle. Remy, hi. Definitely covered. Did the grand staircase skylight actually cave in? I think it did. There were no survivors inside of the grand staircase who actually saw, could see the grand staircase dome implode like that, and then, and lived to talk about it. But Archibald Gracie gave some really, really good testimony talking about that. So I personally believe the grand staircase dome did implode like that. Gray Fox, the Estonia's front cargo door wasn't shut. I heard that the Estonia's cargo door broke, like the chains holding it in broke. But I could be wrong about that. Colon, here's a strange question. There are no such thing as strange questions on here. And as soon as I say that, somebody's going to ask me a really strange question, I can tell. I have a strange question. Olympic, Titanic, and Britannic. Which one is your favorite? Probably Titanic. Titanic is what got me into this. Jake, what made you start liking the Titanic? When I was a kid. When I was a kid and the James Cameron movie came out, I remember I walked over to my grandparents' house and they had it on TV, and I asked my mom, what's that movie? And she said that it was Titanic. I asked her what was Titanic, and I was hooked from that point on. Frank, why do so many people think Murdoch shot himself? That's a good question. It has mostly to do with the fact that gunshots were heard from Murdoch's position, But no one saw him shoot himself. That's just how it was portrayed in the movie. And I do believe James Cameron said that if he could change one thing from the feature film, it would be not to have Murdoch shoot himself, because I believe his family didn't like that. So I think it was just the fact that gunshots were heard. But honestly, those gunshots were just, they could have been just to keep people from swamping a collapsible A. Kind of weird question. Here, a weird question. Andreas, what kind of weird question? Would you have liked to be on Titanic? I would not. At the time, honestly, you got to remember, Titanic wasn't famous until after it sank. You got to compare Titanic to modern day ships, like take Oasis of the Seas. Oasis of the Seas and Allure of the Seas, they're basically identical ships. And so if I would have lived back then, I probably would have wanted to sail on the Olympic. The Olympic was the one that I would have wanted to go on, but Titanic became famous because of what happened to it. Okay, we got another super chat. Oh, wait, Mamisa, Rosie. Do y'all want me to go get Rosie? Nick, hello, sir. I just wanted to reach out and say I enjoy your videos. Your Saving the Titanic recommendation was A1. Cheers. Oh, thanks, man. You like the documentary? Hang on a second. Let me go find Rosie. I'm sure y'all would like to say hi. Hi, everyone. I'm back. And here is Rosie. Rosie, say hi to everybody. Hello. This is my golden retriever, Rosie. Say hi, Rosie. That is Rosie. Doggo. Aw. Rosie is a mess, let me tell you. If as soon as I open up a bag of beef jerky, she'll follow me anywhere in the house. Everybody loves Rosie. Hi, everybody. I'm pretty sure there's a delay on here, because it's like when I show you guys something, it's like 10, 15 seconds before everybody responds. And Rosie's over there sound asleep now. Cross, do you like cats? Cross, do you like cats? I do like cats, but I am allergic to them. I'm not super allergic, but I do sneeze. Oprium, I've got a Twitter and Discord if you want me to send it to you. We'll talk about how to get in touch. We'll talk about how to get in touch. But I do see that, and we'll figure out a way to get in touch, man. Don't worry. Andreas, hi, Andreas. Roman, I like your videos. Can you make some video about Titanic's sister shops? Do you mean ships? About what happened to them? Sure. That's actually interesting. I am planning to do a video on the Olympic at some point, and I am going to make a video about the Britannic. I know everybody wants a video on Britannic, so I am going to cover that. These crow's nest towers get so damaged, but I am going to do that at some point. Ben, any theories as to why the engine started up shortly after the collision at half speed for a few minutes? Some say 5 to 10 minutes. That is a good question. You know, everybody does want to know exactly why the engines on the Titanic were running after the collision. It's possible that they just didn't know how severe it was, because the engines didn't run for too long. And even though it may have increased the flow of water for a while, I don't think it would have added that much of a factor into the sinking. So, but that is a good question. And we will never know that answer. Walker, where do you get those ship models of Britannic and Titanic? From Titanic, Honor and Glory. Hang on one second. Copy. Okay. Anybody who wants those ship models, there you go. That's the link. Anybody who wants those ship models, just click on that. I'll take you right to the website where you can buy those models. Tony, holy crap, that's a cute dog. Thank you. I love your Titanic picture in the background, Heather. Oh, thank you. This is like an Art Deco Titanic picture that my sister and her husband got me for Christmas. I really, really like it. Historic Travels, did you see the vid in your comments of Lusitania video where they found 303 ammo boxes? I didn't, but I try to read as many of the comments as I can. We just got a super chat, the Fishy Slayer. I like your name. I'll read your super chat in just a second. But I did see that. I didn't see that comment at the time, but it is possible. The only problem with the way we can't say 100% for sure that the Lusitania did have weapons on board, which I think it did, but the British and stuff were actually firing bombs and rounds at the wreck of the Lusitania in the 30s. Now, it's possible they weren't aiming directly at the Lusitania. I saw some theories that they may have ID'd the Lusitania as U-boats during the Second World War in the 40s, so I don't really know. There's a lot of theories about the Lusitania, and I saw a really, really interesting video about coal dust igniting. That was very, very interesting. Nate, hi, bro. Hi, Nate. Oh, wait, I gotta get back to that super chat. Hi, love your content that you post. I've known a lot about the Titanic because of your channel. I've learned so much. Love your content. Thank you, Slayer. I really, really appreciate the super chat. 4014 production. Sam, can you do a video on the Union Pacific? I will do a video on the Union Pacific. I'll get to the trains at some point. I do need to. I actually have a really, really detailed model that me and my grandfather built. Model train layout that me and him built when I was a kid, and it still works. I spent some time working on it a couple of years back, and it's still there. I could make a video about that if y'all are interested. Bridge, did you know that the Costa Concordia hit a underwater rock? Yeah, I did. I did know that because the captain took the ship too close to shore and it hit the rocks and stuff like that. Yeah, I did see that. Okay, let me see here. Boom. Okay, the true wait. All right. Fox region questions. Why didn't Britannic's Grand Staircase implode? Well, we don't know that the Britannic's Grand Staircase didn't implode. We don't know that for certain. You got to remember that the the Britannic was mostly evacuated when it went down. I believe 32 people passed away. But there wasn't anybody left on the Britannic when the ship began its final plunge. When the bridge went under, the only people that were still on board were in the engine room. The Miner, do you know about the Roblox Titanic game? I've heard about it, but I have not checked it out yet. I will get to that at some point. Let's see. RMS Mauritania. I just saw it, and if the Titanic didn't sink, would it have been a normal ship life or saved like the SS Nomad? I think the Titanic would have been scrapped because you have to remember the Titanic ships were not really thought of as super special things in the early 1900s. To people who lived 100 years ago, ships were no different than airplanes are to us. So while I would have liked the Olympic to have been saved, you've got to think about the people in the 1930s who, the Great Depression, they needed the money. So I don't think Titanic would have made it. Let's see. Constein? I can't pronounce your name. Will you do a video discussing each of the Titanic's ports? That's an interesting idea. I do know that I believe that there was a man who got aboard the Titanic in Southampton and was working, and then he slipped off of the ship in Cherbourg. I think he got off in Cherbourg. Like he signed on to the Titanic and then just slipped off the Titanic's one stowaway. That would be very, very interesting. I really like that idea. Godzilla 2000, I warn you, do not get why not get that game? Heather, have you ever met the guys from Titanic Honor and Glory? I have not met them personally, no. I would like to meet them, but I have not. Okay. How do you feel about the Titanic 2? I see your question. I see your Mation. I see your question. I'm not crazy about them building a Titanic 2. I don't like the idea. I feel like they're trying to capitalize on the Titanic. And you got to remember that the Titanic's a tragedy, and I like the movies. I like documentaries and stuff like that. But I mean, the Titanic is such a mediocre ship in today's standard. What makes Titanic interesting is the story. So I honestly feel like that they're just trying to capitalize on the Titanic name a little bit. So I'm not I'm not crazy about the idea. And you got to remember, if they build it just like the Titanic, no one's going to sail on it. So I think it'll be a modern ship that just looks like the Titanic. Tony, do you like, do I like tea? I do like tea. Nothing fancy, just Lipton. Opinion. What is the most ridiculous Titanic split theory you've heard? Probably the V break. That really doesn't make sense. And there's also the what's his name? Charles Mangot. Mangot, I think that's his name. He actually had a theory that the Titanic split below the surface, and I strongly disagree with that theory as well. I wouldn't say it's. I think the most ridiculous is the V break, but we got a kind of the super chat. Subaru. Hey, what's up? I'm new here. Congrats on 5K. Thank you, man, and thank you for the super chat. Nate, same. Meg, yes, roast V break. I mean, there's so many problems with V break. That's I don't really know why that caught on. I really don't. Paul, what's your opinion on when the lights finally went out? How long were they on after the breakup? Well, you got to remember the Titanic had an emergency generator. And honestly, that brings up a really, really good point. Thanks, Paul, for the question. Somebody else asked me in the comments today why the Lusitania lost power so fast. And you see, after the Titanic broke in two, it takes time for those generators to wind down and calm down. It's not like today where gas or fuel or whatever's cut, the power goes out. You know, steam is pressure, and it takes time for the system to slowly wind down over time. And I think the power stayed on till just about the end, like at least until right before the ship went under. Charles Yelkin, he said that the lights stayed on right up to the point where he left the ship. I don't know how true that is, but it's possible. It's also possible he saw the mast light, because that was an oil lamp. But I think the lights stayed on until right at the end. And the only reason the Lusitania's power failed so fast is after the second explosion, the ship lost all boiler pressure. So, Nate, what is your opinion on the Titanic 2? I've answered that. Okay. Nate, I've talked about the Titanic 2 several times on here. I've given more detailed answers before. Just rewind the stream after it's over. But short answer, I don't like the idea that they're doing it personally. I think they're trying to capitalize on it. Undertaker, have you ever collaborated with Titanic Honor and Glory? I have not, but I would like to meet them. Captain, now that we are on the subject of ships with the number 2 on it, what would you say about Olympic 2 one day being built? Well, if they built the Olympic, people would think it's Titanic. Because you got to think, if we all know ships on here. So if we see Titanic, we know Titanic. If we see Lusitania, we know Lusitania. But there's a lot of people out in the world who, if they just see 2 4-stack ships, they might think Lusitania is Titanic. So if they built another Olympic, people would go, oh, that's Titanic. That's what I think would happen. Rodrigo, April 15, 2021. Will there be a special broadcast? I might do something to commemorate the week of Titanic, but I doubt I will be live then, because usually on that day, I try to watch Titanic Honor and Glory's live stream, so I will probably be watching that. But I may make a video. I'm sure I will. The Miner, what do you think about the Freedom Ship? Oh, the Freedom Ship. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Freedom Ship was that ship that was supposed to be a city, like a massive city that was supposed to stay out in the ocean and just travel the world. Like the top deck was supposed to be an airport. If that would have been a thing, that would have been really, really cool. Gary, hello, great job. Love watching your videos. Thank you. Could you do a video on the SS Edmund Fitzgerald? I would like to know the story. Yeah, I am going to do a video on the Edmund Fitzgerald at some point. The Lusitania was my first video venturing off of Titanic. Lusitania was a lot of work. There was a lot of material to cover, and trying to figure out how to cover it in a short amount of time was very, very challenging. But I will do a video on Edmund Fitzgerald. I really like the song. Wait, I lost you. Whoever asked me that question on the Edmund Fitzgerald, sorry, I lost your name. But have you ever been to Mackinac Island? I love going there. We try to go every couple of years or so. Owen, were there any lifeboats that were not launched on the Titanic? Collapsible A and B were not launched. They floated off. Peter, will you do Empress of Ireland? I will do Empress of Ireland. Ian, Edmund Fitzgerald is the Titanic of the legs. It is. The Edmund Fitzgerald, it's most famous, I think, from the song. But the Edmund Fitzgerald is a very, very sad story. You know, no one survived that sinking. Let's see. Deathly, please make a video about Britannic's destroyed lifeboats. Oh, are you Deathly? Are you talking about the? I was confused for a second, but are you talking about the lifeboats that got cut up by the Britannic's propellers? That would be an interesting video, and I'm going to cover that when I talk about the Britannic. Single cold heart. Any ships from the Bermuda Triangle? Bermuda Triangle. Interesting. Excuse me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the didn't the Mary Celeste go through the Bermuda Triangle? And I do know about Flight 19, but I'm not an expert in Bermuda Triangle. Are you going to do a video on the MS Estonia? Yes, at some point I will do a video on the Estonia. I will do that at some point. RMS Mauritania. I'm a go. Okay. Have a good night, Mauritania. Nathan, do you like Charles Lightoller? I disagree with his decision. I don't like what he did with the women and children only. I favor Murdoch's decision. I don't think Lightoller was a bad guy. I just think he used bad judgment that night. Let's see. Tobia. Sorry, guys. These messages are coming. I'm trying to read. Tobia, have you watched Titanic, The Legend Goes On, and The Legend of Titanic? I have not seen those films. Are you going to do a video on Costa Concordia, Edward? Possibly. I haven't actually given it any thought, but I could do a video on the Costa Concordia at some point. Will you do a video on the Andrea Doria? Yes, I will do. I'll do a video on the Andrea Doria too at some point. I actually did mention it briefly in my iceberg video. Clownfishes. I really love your videos, man. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Clownfish. Clownfishes. Clownfish. Have you seen Nemo anywhere? I'm looking for Nemo. Just call me Godzilla. Why didn't the crew load passengers into the lifeboats through the gangway door? Honestly, because they forgot about him. Charles Lightoller did send those men down there to open up the gangway door, and they just forgot about it. You know, they forgot it was open with everything else they had going on. It's absolutely unbelievable. GC, is this live? Yes, I am here right now. I'm going to be live for probably another 10 minutes, and then I'm going to wrap up the stream. Slanmation, if you could get inside the Titanic too, would you accept it? What was the last part? And if you could go see the wreck, would you do it? If somebody offered me a chance to go see the Titanic too, I would go. I'd go check it out. I think it'd be really, really interesting to go see it. If anybody offered me a chance to go see the wreck, I would definitely take that up. Ramp, is this real life? Okay, whoa. Brian, when did you become a Titanic fan? I became a Titanic fan when I was a kid. My grandparents were watching the movie. I was 6 or 7 when the movie came out, and I saw it. Pacific, will you do any aviation-related things on this channel? I am a big fan of aviation. A school that I went to was actually a pilot school. I just wasn't there to be a pilot. But yeah, I may cover some aviation stuff at some point. And ironically enough, I have this. This is a really cool letter opener. It's a use it to open envelopes and stuff, but it's a propeller as well. So it's a fun. It's like think of it like a really, really big. Think of it like a really, really big fidget spinner. Are you going to get a model of the Olympic? I do have I have 3 more models on order from Titanic Honor and Glory, but I've had the models ordered for a while. But I've got Olympic, I've got Mauritania, and I've got Aquitania on order. I just haven't gotten them yet. Adam, good night. John, can you make a video on John Jacob Astor? Yeah, that would be very, very interesting. I might make that at some point. Ori Paynham, just let me know how I can contact you. Honestly, man, just leave me a comment. Like, leave me a comment in one of my videos. Just find a way for me to reach out to you, and I will be in touch with you. Just post a message so I can see it, and I'll message you. Whoa. West Hunter, do you like warships? I am interested in warships. I don't know a ton about warships, but I am interested in them. Ryan, would you do a video on the history of the RMS Queen Mary? I am going to do that at some point. The Queen Mary is one of my favorite ships. Actually, I got something I'll show you guys. I'll show this the best that I can for being on the chat. That I actually talked to a guy and he sold me this. This is an old original picture of the Queen Mary. He said he's had this in his collection for 20 years or so. Anyway, I found this online and me and him negotiated and I bought this. I think it's a really, really cool, very beautiful picture of the Queen Mary. It's nice. Cool, cool, cool. So cool. Oh, wait, I just saw. Is the Queen Mary haunted? I did spend the night on the Queen Mary. I did not see any ghosts, but I do know the stories, and I did have fun. And I went to pretty much all the active areas, and I explored the ship at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Very, very jet lagged. I wasn't ghost hunting, but. Oh, wait, another super chat from Edwin Deere. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Did you know the Lusitania and the Mauritania were called completely unsinkable by the Shipbuilders magazine? Also, nice Queen Mary picture. Thanks. I did not know that. I did not know that the Lusitania and Mauritania were called completely unsinkable. That seems like a very, very bad omen to me. But I did not know that. Thank you. And thank you again for the super chat. Tony, can I have a shout out, please? Hi, Tony. Everybody, say hi to Tony. Everybody in the chat, say hi to Tony. He's really sad. Hi, Tony. Okay, and I subbed. Thanks. I appreciate it. Nick, is there any lasting liners from the golden? Wait, good grief. I just lost a. Oh, shoot. Where was that question? That looked like it'd be a good question, too. Titanic, how about a video on the battleship Maine? That'd be interesting. And what are your thoughts on it? I do not know anything about the battleship Maine. That's an interesting idea. Nate, I miss ocean liners. So do I. Hi, Tony. Hi, Tony. Tony, you feel better? Tony, yay, I'm happy now. Hi, Tony. Hi, Tony. Have you done, wait. Have you heard of the SS Carl D. Bradley? I have not. What is that? Nick, I'll repeat the question, little historic travelers. Is there any lasting line? As soon as I start to answer your question, the question disappears. Okay, I found you, Nick. Are there any lasting lines from the golden age of ocean travel besides the Queen Mary and the SS United States? I don't believe so, Nick. Oh, and Nick, thank you for resending the question. I don't think there are any ocean liners left. Was any part of the Queen Elizabeth left? Of the Elizabeth, was it left in Hong Kong after the fire? I wonder if any of that's still there. Colin, what about HMS Hood video? I was thinking about that. The HMS Hood is very, very interesting as well. Listen, I've got a lot of video ideas from you guys. Thank you guys so much. Nathan, do you have any social media? I do have a Facebook, but nothing. I don't have a Twitter or anything like that. I try to limit my social media stuff. Captain, have you ever considered getting the 1/200 scale model of Lusitania? Oh, I didn't even know there was a 1/200 scale model of Lusitania. That's very, very interesting. Johnny, USS Indianapolis, love your videos. Thank you. Godzilla 2000, what angle did the Titanic split at? I think they said 24 degrees, I think. Aaron, can I have a shout out? Hi, Aaron. Tony, can you make a video about the Carpathia? I am going to make a video about the Carpathia. I will cover that at some point. The next ship I'm going to do besides Titanic, I don't know if it'll be the next video, but I do want to do the Gustloff next. Pacific, can I not have a shout out? Pacific, you do not want a shout out? Okay, everybody here, Pacific doesn't want a shout out, so. Brave and New, do you think the Titanic went vertical when it sank? I do. If you look at the latest sinking animation from Titanic Honor and Glory, they show the Titanic rolling over onto its side and then just sliding down like that. I think it was more of a combination of the two. I think the Titanic did roll over and start to go down, but I think right before the stern went under, it kind of bobbed up and went vertical and then sank like that. That's my theory. Titanic historian, is it me or is almost every ship called unsinkable? Please give me a shout out. Hi, Titanic historian. Here's your shout out. Drew, are you going to make a video about Harold Bride? I actually did talk about him briefly. Well, not really briefly. There's a whole video about him. But I did talk about him in my Titanic almost wasn't able to call for help video. Matthew, why is the video buffering? Matthew, just log out and log back in, man. And guys, just so you know, I'm going to wrap up the stream in about the next 5 minutes. I usually do 1 hour chat. So in about 5 minutes, I'm going to wrap up the stream. Tony, Titanic virtually unsinkable right now. Well, that is technically true. Models make it really easy to learn. Keep using. Okay, thanks, man. I really wish I knew how to say your name right. Ori Painum. I really like using the models, and I think the models are really, really good. Starry Night. Hello, this is randomly recommended to me. Can I have a shout out? Hi, Starry Night. Welcome to the live stream. You got here right on time. I'm wrapping up the stream in about 5 minutes. Nathaniel, why do I always come in like 40 minutes late? You know what I'm going to do from now on is I'm actually going to start posting when I'm going to go live, so people have a little bit more of an update. I do these every now and again, so. Ori Painium. Okay. Ori Painium. Brave and New. How many degrees do you think the Titanic was in the air? About 24 degrees? Friska, please, historic travel, sad face. What's your, what do you need, Friska? What do you need? Chester, will you make a video about the RMS Empress of Ireland? I will cover that video. I will make a ship on that at some point. Curtis, are there any locomotives you're interested in? Ooh, trains. Yeah, there's a bunch of trains that I'm interested in. The Daylight Limited is one. The Santa Fe Super Cheap. I think trains are really cool. I do like trains. It's actually on my list. I have a bucket list. I would like to travel across America by train. I think that would be a lot of fun. Taylor, what is your opinion on the Titanic 2021 expedition and its plans? I actually don't know anything about the expedition. I did see that they were taking requests for people to actually go and see the ship, but I do not know any of the details or their mission goals. Thank you for the great videos from Ed from Mexico. Hi from America, Ed, and thank you. Tony, it is 38.5 degrees. Really? I've never seen that before. 38.5. Most of the documentaries I say it was about 24, 25 degrees. Okay, that's interesting, Tony. Tony, if you have any information on that, I'd love to read it. Bradley, can you do a video on the Andrea Doria? I will do a video on the Andrea Doria at some point. Anybody who has video ideas, just leave them in my comments and I will see them. Friska, please. What do you need, Friska? Okay. Jake, my great-grandfather was on the Queen Mary during World War II and said they were not allowed to light cigarettes at night because of suds. Really? Jake, that's really, really cool. A really, really good friend of mine. He fought in World War II, and he actually sailed on the Queen Mary during the Second World War, and he was like a grandfather to me. We weren't related, but I knew him since I was a kid. So we both have our own little connections to the Queen Mary. That's really, really cool. Montreal, video idea. All right, Montreal, what's your video idea? Montel, not Montreal, Montel. Titanic historian, did you know the swimming pool in the Titanic is still filled with water? The Titanic the pool in the Titanic still has water in it? Really? I had no idea. Just call me Godzilla. Did you know the Titanic never had a lifeboat filled to max? Actually, Godzilla, I don't believe that's true. Some of the lifeboats in the later part of the sinking were overfilled, I believe. There was one lifeboat, I don't know the number, but it was so overfilled that the people in the lifeboat, all they had to do was put their hand over the side and they were touching the water. Let's see. Anyone want to shout out? Anybody want to shout out Captain Alex before the stream comes to a close? Yeah, I'm going to wrap up the stream in the next minute or two, guys. Shane, my great-granddad worked in a shipyard building the Titanic. Oh, that's awesome, Shane. Shane, are you still over there in Belfast? They're planning to remove the Marconi system by cutting a hole in the roof. I've heard that before, that they're planning to remove the Marconi wireless. And honestly, I don't really care too much. I don't think it's that big of a deal, because you got to remember the Titanic's in a rapid state of decay, and they can't really. It's not really cutting a hole in it. The roof of the Marconi room is falling apart. It's rapidly falling apart. So I don't think it'd be that big of a deal for them to get in there and try to get the Marconi out. And I used to be very, very against people going inside the Titanic and taking things out of it. I liked what they did, just recovering things from the debris field. But the Titanic is in a rapid state of decay. So, I mean, if we don't save things now, we're going to lose them forever. So I think it's very cool to keep the memory of the Titanic alive. So my opinions on it have changed because of how badly the Titanic was wrapping up. It's falling apart. Godzilla 2000. Well, this stream was fun. Thanks, Godzilla. I'm glad you had fun. I'm trying to make these fun and entertaining for everybody. Any last minute questions, guys, before I wrap up the stream? Gray Fox, would the Marconi system still be intact? That's debatable. I don't know if it would be or not. That's actually a really, really good question. John, where do you get the small models from? Actually, I buy all of my models from this website that I just posted in the chat. That's the best place to go and check out the models. Can you do a video on the Normandy? I will do a video on the Normandy at some point. I will do that as well. All right, everybody. Well, hey, thank you all for tuning in tonight, and thank you all for coming into the live stream, and it was a ton of fun, and everybody who was here, thank you guys. And everybody who's new subscribers, welcome, and everybody who's been leaving me comments, thank you guys for that as well. I really appreciate that. Everybody, thank you all so much. I cannot believe we hit 5,000 subs, and I'm blown away by it. So everybody, keep doing what you do. Keep leaving me comments. Keep leaving me messages, and I will be on there. And just we'll see if we can get some video ideas going. And I'll give everybody shout outs as well. All right, everybody. Well, hey, y'all have a good evening, and I'll see you around.